Hey guys, how's it going? Huya and Douyu are two of the biggest Chinese streaming companies. The two of them accounted for almost 80% of the live streaming market last year. Even so, competition has started heating up, with Kuaishou, Douyin, and Bilibili growing as rivals to Douyu and Huya. This is no wonder, since the Chinese game streaming market is growing fast. It is expected to grow by 22% this year alone, to roughly $7.5 billion. Going into June of 2023, both Huya and Douyu look like attractive investment opportunities. In this video, we're going to break them down and see what's the profit potential and the risk. We're gonna start off with their operations. Douyu had an average of 50.2 million monthly active users, which was an 8.9% decline as compared to last year. The paying users were less than 10% of that, at only 4.5 million, resulting in a net profit of $2.1 million. In fact, Douyu lost money on its operations, but made a net $7.9 million gain on its interest, which is the reason why Douyu are profitable. In terms of strategy, Douyu are changing their marketing approach towards a closer collaboration with the streamers on the platform. They are also focusing on hosting esport tournaments for games like League of Legends Teamfight Tactics, Pro League, and League of Legends World Championship. These are massive in the gaming world, so this can be a very lucrative opportunity for Douyu. Douyu has also introduced memberships last year, which they've been adding new services to. This year, they are working closer with game developers to improve the game-specific memberships that they offer. Looking at Huya, the monthly active users increased a little bit to 82.1 million. In Q1 of 2023, Huya broadcasted 35 third-party professional esports tournaments with a combined viewership of over 400 million. They also broadcasted 15 self-organized channels and shows, which attracted roughly 77 million viewers. Huya is focused on expanding its interactive game features, adding features such as Gift Drop, which allows broadcasters to gift free in-game items to viewers. Interactive features are a big focus because they engage viewers and lead to higher retention. Huya has also been focusing on optimizing and reducing expenses. As compared to Q1 of last year, total operating expenses have gone down by 26%. However, revenue has also dropped by 20.6% from 2.46 billion Chinese yuan last year to only 1.95 billion this year. There are two solid reasons why investors have been and continue to be bullish. 1. Tencent is backing both companies. As of April 2023, Tencent owns 37.75% of Douyu. Tencent also has a 46.7% share in Huya. Back in 2021, Tencent wanted to merge both companies to create one massive live streaming giant. The Chinese government, however, did not like the idea and blocked the deal. Like I mentioned at the start, Huya and Douyu were essentially running the live streaming market back then. It was a duopoly. These days, competition is more common, so the possibility of merging the two companies remains. Plus, having a tech giant like Tencent backing a stock is always a good sign. The other reason why people are still bullish is simply financial. Both Huya and Douyu trade for less than the net cash on their balance sheet. Huya has a market cap of $786 million, with $1.42 billion in cash. Douyu has a market cap of 323 million with 915 million in cash. Plus, both companies are breaking even or making money, so they're not even burning through the cash. Seeing this happen over the last couple of years has been mind-boggling. So, on paper, Huya and Douyu look amazing, but there is a reason why the two stocks are trading so low. First of all, the merge was a big bullish factor for both companies, but at this point we have no idea if this is ever going to happen. Second, the Chinese government, Chinese legislation, all of this has a huge impact. The legislation that was introduced over the last couple of years has massively limited gaming and streaming companies. Plus, not just the game industry, Chinese tech companies as a whole have been targeted again and again by Chinese legislators. Not to mention that the whole stock ownership situation there is sort of unique. In a nutshell, buying Huya and Douyu in the US is essentially just buying a shell company in the Cayman Islands. This does not inspire a lot of trust in the stock, and this is precisely why the SEC had massive issues with Chinese stocks being listed on American stock exchanges. If these companies were American, German, British or so on, they would be trading for 10 times the price. Finally, the growth potential of Huya and Douyu is a big question mark. Both companies have had issues being consistently profitable. The live streaming market is growing fast, yes, but this doesn't mean that these companies will be profitable. Competition is getting more intense, and Huya and Douyu need to diversify the streams of revenue. In all honesty, they have been doing this, but the overwhelming majority of their sales still comes from live streaming related activities. What am I doing about Huya and Douyu? I was bullish 3 years ago, I was bullish 2 years ago, I was bullish last year. Even now, I want to be optimistic about these two stocks, but I've lost $1,500 on them so far, and honestly, you have to learn from your mistakes. I will not be buying them, especially with the challenging economic conditions right now. What I am buying is an emerging markets index fund, which has a big exposure to China. This is the best way to spread the risk when it comes to investing in Chinese stocks. Not just Huya or Douyu, but also Tencent, Alibaba, Baidu, and others. Even then, I am not putting in more than 2-3% of my total assets in this fund. I am certain that China and other emerging economies will become big players in the next 10 or 20 years, but are we going to profit from that? I cannot tell. China is very keen on keeping its profits within the country, so I have the feeling that foreign investors like you and me will not benefit as much as Chinese investors. What do you think? Are you bullish on Huya and Douyu? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.